Mr. Drew, perhaps you can come up and tell us about the CAG.
Good evening. As everybody knows, Whittaker-Bermite, the property is 996 acres in the middle of the city. It's been ongoing for umpteen years, and 5 years ago they said it was going to be done within 3 to 5 years, and we're still at 3 to 5 years, and right now the plan is for it to be done by 2016, fall of 2016. 2 weeks ago, I forget the exact date, but they hold what they call a multi-jurisdictional task force meeting. It was created in 2002 by Bob Keller, according to his email that he sent me. And the subcommittee from the council are the ones that run the meetings. It's either Frank Ferry or Bob Keller is on the committee. All the players for the Whittaker-Bermite property are there. There's the Department of Toxic Substance Control, there's CLWA, there's the company representing Whittaker, who's supposed to be the ones in charge of the cleanup, and they're the ones paying for it and doing it. The council is supposed to be running the meeting. There's 3 meetings held a year, and all 3 meetings this year, we never had a city council member show up to the meeting. The CAG asked the question of Bob after the second, how come city council wasn't there? I got an email back from him, says that he had scheduling conflicts. And so I said, okay, well, we hope to see you at the last meeting. Well, he didn't show up there either. So the new meetings are scheduled for this coming year. The schedule's out, and hopefully they will be able to rearrange their schedules a year in advance so that they can come to the meetings, because the meetings are informative but quick. They're very brief. Department of Substance Control talks about what is going on the property. Whittaker talks about what they've got planned and going on. City says a couple of things. CLWA talks about the water issues, and then we're done. Berta brought up a subject that's kind of a thorn in her side, and the city kind of danced around it. And so about the vacant house that's on Soledad right there on the property, that's kind of semi-falling down with a tree on it. And Berta, what did they have to say? Anything?
They told me that because the property is still in bankruptcy, that the city has to be very careful, but that Tom Cole is actually going to take it on as a project to try to work with the property owners of record to see what we can do. Because technically the city can go in and tear it down. We have that ability to do it, but they don't want to get into any legal tangles. At least that's what they're saying right now. I'm going to keep pushing it. I want that lighted piece of
I don't blame you. I don't blame you. I'd like to get this whole thing done. Like I say, they're planning on pushing to have the project completed in the fall of 2016. Right now, they've got several projects that are in the planning stages still. They're supposed to start grading by the end of the year on what they call Operational Unit 5. The project's divided up into 7 units. 6 of them are on the land, and the 7th one is deep soils and groundwater. And OU5, Operational Unit 5, is from the area of the entrance to Bermite on Soledad and behind the Speedway and up to the first ridge. And they're supposed to start grading and cleaning the dirt in that area by the end of the year. They said they were waiting on permits from the city, grading permits. That's where they're at now with that. They've got, they want to put in 27 soil vapor extraction wells to take out some VOCs out of the soils up there. The problem and the delays on that is that when Bermite pulled out of the area, they pulled all the power, all the electrical power off of the property. So now to put these soil vapor extraction units back, they need electricity. So they have 2 units up there, but they have no electricity. They've submitted plans to Edison for Edison to approve. Then they have to put it out to bid for somebody to come in and put electric back onto the property. There's 1 unit that there's power that they can get to, and the rest of the projects, around December 1st, the first large unit's supposed to be in, but there's already power in that area. And as soon as they get the permit get the permit process and the bid process, and they get a contractor to be able to put the power back in, they'll be putting more soil vapor extractions up there to start doing that. The soil vapor extraction will be under the purview of the AQMD was at the multi-jurisdictional also, and they'll be keeping an eye on the soil vapor extraction to make sure that what's generated and comes out of that is taken care of. OU7, the remedial action plan for OU7, which is the deep soils and the groundwater, is soon to be completed and available for public comment, but they didn't give us an actual date when that's going to happen. The plan, after the RAP is released and commented on, the implementation of OU7 should start in the fall of 2015. Now, OU7 has a lot to do with the perchlorate in the water, not only on the property, the plume that is continuing to spread to the west, and which involves the 2 Saugus wells, which CLWA is presently, they are, what's the word? Well, they're cleaning up those 2 wells, the perchlorate. 2 Valencia wells are still shut down, and CLWA also said they've had some bearing problems on Saugus 1 and 2, where one of the wells has been shut down to replace the bearings. There has been some VOCs starting to show up, which is volatile organic compounds, which can be carcinogens. The VOCs show up from time to time, but there's not enough showing that they have to report it. There's minute amounts, but with the perchlorate that's taken out of the water, and then if whatever VOCs are shown, they dilute the water 6 to 1. And I've had many water people tell me that the solution to pollution is dilution. So that's got to be a major subject that this community needs to be aware of, is that could be a lot of water issues in the future. And us being a desert, water needs to be a very, very, very important issue. Anyway, the cleanup on the rest of the property, like I say, is OU5 is supposed to start by the end of the year. And the RAP, the remedial action plan for OU7 will be out first part of the year, I believe it was. And then also there was talk on, as you know, the Metrolink station is on contaminated property also. That's part of the Bermite plant property. And there's going to be a barrier put in between the parking lot of the Metrolink station and the Saugus Speedway to try to keep everything contained on the parking lot, the Metrolink parking lot, and the Metrolink station, so that it doesn't spread any farther to the Speedway. Now, there's one other thing I wanted to talk about the Speedway, which the Speedway is actually contaminated property also. And they did sign, the Benellis signed a voluntary cleanup if they ever want to do anything with that property. Well, they've tore down all the bleachers in the last year, and so all the bleachers are gone. And at our meeting last week, Jim Holt was there from the Signal, and we were asking about the Speedway and all that. And then so today, or not today, yesterday, there was an article in the Signal about the Speedway. And it said, the headline said, Speedway cleanup complete, which I thought was super duper misleading, because all they were talking about was basically if there was lead in the bleachers, paint, the lead contamination. Because right now the Speedway is cleaned up for its present purpose that it is an outdoor swap meet. If they wanted to build any kind of buildings or anything else on there, they could not do it because of the land still contaminated. And that's a lot like what a lot of the Bermite property is up in Burn Valley, which will never, ever be cleaned up to a standard where they can put any kind of housing on. It'll be, they could put a swap meet or they could put a soccer field or something on that area, but they can never build on it. And so there'd be restrictions. And so when the Signal put this out saying that the cleanup was complete, I just thought, oh my God, how misleading is that? And so everybody thinks that everything is just hunky-dory over there. And it's not hunky-dory. More people need to be involved with Bermite so we can keep some pressure on the city. I know the city wants to get it cleaned up, but the city would, if they could, do it by piecemeal. There's 4 major roads planned for the area. If they could get those roads open, they just, you know, they wanted them open last year. They still can't because there's judgments on the property, so nothing can be taken care of until it's all cleaned up. Like I say, DTSC, Department of Toxic Substance Control, has put a deadline of fall of 2016, and they're saying they're shooting for that. The insurance on the property, the one that's cleaning up the property, runs out in 2019. So if they don't get it done by then it's on Whittaker's dime, not at Whittaker's insurance company. Anyway, we're still, the CAG's working on I put something down here and now I can't even find it. Anyway, the CAG's keeping an eye on things, or trying to. The more people we can get at CAG meetings, the more information we can get out. That's what we're trying to do. The next CAG meeting, which is the next multi-jurisdictional meeting also, will be on Wednesday, March 5th. We meet at the Santa Clarita United Methodist Church on Bouquet Canyon, across from Best Buy. Our meeting's at 7 o'clock, and anybody that would like to attend, we'd be more than happy to have you show up. Any questions? That's it.
You know, it does come to mind, Rick. When did Bermite leave that property? 87. In 87? Late 80s. They were gone since late 87, and they pulled out all of the electric pads. And these guys just figured that out? Well, I think that's what we're talking about from the standpoint of someone's got to plan the stuff, someone's got to schedule it, someone's got to track it, and it ain't happening. And it's important to our area. It's a very important cleanup area, thing in our area, and it's just not happening the right way.